Hey guys, have you ever thought about a guy selling his organs to pay off debts and then suddenly turning into a human chainsaw to fight demons? Totally crazy, right? You might be wondering how that even happens. Stay tuned because today we're going to unravel this bloody mystery. But first, hit that like button and subscribe if you're not part of the crew yet. Okay. Alright, now buckle up because the carnage is about to begin. Our journey begins in a damp, oppressive alley, the kind of place you only find in your darkest nightmares. Heavy, ragged breathing echoes off the graffiti-covered, grimy walls as the camera leads us to piles of trash and debris, ramping up the tension with every step. Finally, we stop in front of a decrepit door, plastered with papers that look more like eviction notices and endless bills, a sign of the miserable life we're about to witness. A hand hesitates, trembling, before reaching for the doorknob. And then, for a moment, darkness swallows us whole. Our vision returns to a crack, revealing the inside of a tiny, makeshift shack. There, surrounded by palpable poverty, we find Denji, our protagonist, sprawled on a battered mattress on the floor. By his side, curled up and loyal, is Pochita, his inseparable companion, an adorable demon shaped like a little orange dog with a chainsaw coming out of its head. The first ray of morning sunlight breaks into the shack, lighting up the dust and the desolation. It's the raw image of misery. "Hey, Pochita?" Denji murmurs in a hoarse voice. "Ready to get to work?" Ready for another day of hard labor and danger. The scene shifts, and now we follow Denji and Pochita walking through a dense forest. The sound of Denji's feet crushing dry branches and fallen leaves is the only noise, aside from the distant singing of birds. They reach a clearing and the landscape opens up, revealing a small town nestled in a lush valley, surrounded by towering mountains. It's a stark contrast to the life Denji leads. Cut down trees? He reflects out loud, his tone resigned. That gets me 60,000 yen. An amount that, for him, is just a drop in the ocean of his debts. As he walks down a dirt road, with Pochita trotting happily by his side, Denji continues his melancholy monologue, a grim accounting of his own existence. "The other day I sold my kidney and got 1,200,000 yen. That was actually a decent amount." He remarks with a hint of bitter irony, "My right eye, that only got me 300,000. He pauses, as if reliving the pain and humiliation. "I also sold one of my balls. How much did they pay for it again?" "Practically nothing. I think it wasn't even 100,000 yen. The camera focuses on a bank statement in his hands, and the red, threatening number jumps out. A colossal debt of 38 million. Pochita, sensing his owner's distress, barks, and Denji tries to force a smile for his friend. "Don't worry, I haven't forgotten, Pochita. We're going to kill them soon," he says, referring to the devils they hunt in an attempt to pay off this endless debt. He explains to Pochita, as if trying to convince himself that being a devil hunter, despite how dangerous it is the only job that actually brings him some money. "Killing a single devil gets me about 300,000 yen. It's our best shot." With a quick, precise motion, Denji pulls the cord that sticks out from Pochita's back. The metallic, screeching sound of a chainsaw tears through the air, and the adorable little dog transforms into a lethal weapon. Standing before them is the Tomato Devil, a bizarre and grotesque creature. Its body is a red, pulsating sphere, studded with multiple wide, bloodshot eyes, each one seeming to have a life of its own. The tension is palpable. The next scene shows us the aftermath of the confrontation. The Tomato Devil is completely torn to pieces. It's at this moment that his employer arrives, a stern-looking man wearing a hat and an overcoat, clearly a member of the Yakuza. "You did a great job, Denji," the man says in a cold, uninterested voice as his henchmen look on. "The carcass of this devil will fetch good money on the black market." He hands an envelope to Denji, who opens it with a mix of hope and apprehension. 400,000 yen, the boss announces. Denji, visibly disappointed, grumbles. He knows that this amount will barely make a dent in his debt, after what you owe and the accumulated interest. The boss continues, relentless. "You're left with 170,000 yen. But the extortion doesn't stop there. "Oh, and there's the informant fee, the administration fee, management costs, my commission." The boss keeps listing, and the wad of cash in Denji's hand shrinks drastically. And a few other little things I'll add in as well. In the end, you're left with 70,000 yen. Denji stares at the few bills left, a look of defeat written all over his face. Back in the city, Denji walks with his head down through the gray streets, Pochita faithfully following him. It feels like the weight of the world is on his shoulders. "Look how weird this is, Pochita," he says, counting the coins he has left. "Now we've only got 1,080 yen left. There's nothing to eat at home. And I still have to make this money last until the end of the month." Suddenly, an old, dirty car with Yakuza members inside pulls up next to them. One of the men, wearing a mocking grin, calls out to Denji, "Hey, mutt." He's holding a lit cigarette. 100 yen if you put that cigarette in your mouth. Do it. Denji, swallowing his pride and with his hunger speaking louder, hesitates for a moment, but his need wins out. He steps forward, takes the cigarette, and eats it in disgust, while the mobsters laugh cruelly. It's a scene of pure humiliation. Meanwhile, inside the car, the boss talks to the driver. "Why did we hire a kid like that to be a devil hunter?" asks the driver, clearly looking down on Denji. The boss, with a calculating look, replies, "We're just making him pay off what his father owed us." His father, who's already dead, by the way. He continues, revealing the cruelty of his logic. "Devil hunters who have any self-respect don't go around selling demon carcasses to the Yakuza like we do. Besides, Denji would never betray us. That's something we have going for us. He's loyal and obedient like a dog, and he's docile. He works for scraps, just like a good pet." The car drives off, leaving Denji alone, coughing violently because of the cigarette. He spits the rest on the ground. With a mix of anger and resignation in his eyes, he crouches down and pets Pochita, his only comfort. Night falls and a torrential rain pours down on Denji's shack. He lies down, and the heavy rain outside seems to mirror the storm inside his soul. He dreams. In his dream, he's eating a slice of bread generously covered with jam, a delicacy he's probably never tasted in real life. Pochita is by his side and Denji hugs him affectionately. The dream shifts and now he sees himself hugging a girl. A deep, distant longing for a normal life, for affection and companionship. But as always, brutal reality rips him away from his daydreams. The phone rings shrill and loud. It's the Yakuza boss. Denji, another devil, has shown up. Time to get to work. Even though he's exhausted and starving, Denji has no choice. He and Pochita drag themselves to an abandoned, dark warehouse. The air is heavy with the smell of mold and something rotten. The Yakuza boss is waiting for him. His silhouette is outlined against the little light that slips through the cracks. "Listen, Denji," the boss begins, with a tone that's falsely friendly. "I want you to know that we're very grateful to you." Denji, suspicious, asks, "Oh, really? That's great." The boss goes on. "You're loyal and obedient like a dog, you're tame, and you work for scraps like a good pet." He pauses ominously. "But I hate dogs. I can't stand their smell." At that moment, the lights come on, revealing that Denji and Pochita are surrounded. Dozens of Yakuza members, with empty eyes and pale skin, slowly move forward. They've turned into zombies. The Yakuza boss, with a triumphant and twisted smile, reveals the betrayal. "You know, Denji, we Yakuza also want to get stronger and make more money. That's why, just like you, we made a deal with the devil." He points to himself and his body starts to twist and swell. "What we want is power equal to that of a devil. And what I want is for all devil hunters to die." His voice becomes guttural and monstrous. "Listen up, little hunter. These guys are way too dumb, complete idiots. I told them I'd give them the power of a devil, and they eagerly offer themselves up to be my slaves. But the thing is, this power turns them into zombies. Obviously, since I'm the zombie devil. The zombies, controlled by the zombie devil, charge at Denji and Pochita. It's a massacre. Denji fights desperately, but he's quickly overpowered. Knives and axes tear into his flesh. Blood gushes out. Pochita tries to protect him, but is also brutally attacked. With Denji barely alive, the zombies drag him and toss him, along with Pochita, into a filthy dumpster, leaving them to die. Lying among the garbage bags, covered in blood and dismembered, Denji remembers his life of misery. I never wanted a lot of money. It's not about that at all. All I wanted was to live a normal life, like anyone else. Is it really too much to ask for even that? Pochita, also on the verge of death, hears his friend's lament. He remembers Denji's promise, his simple dream of eating bread with jam and hugging a girl. With one last effort, Pochita drags himself over to Denji, licks his face, and in an act of ultimate sacrifice, begins to merge with Denji's chest, offering his own devil heart. You know what, Denji? Pochita's voice echoes in Denji's mind, surprisingly clear. I always liked hearing you talk about your dreams to me. This is going to be a contract. I'll give you my heart. In exchange, show me your dreams. All of them, Denji. Denji's blood stops gushing. His wounds begin to miraculously close. A chainsaw starter cord appears on his chest. His eyes open, now filled with wild fury and a demonic gleam. With a guttural scream, he yanks the cord in a deafening explosion of blood and flesh. Denji transforms. Chainsaws burst from his arms and his head, replacing his limbs and face with spinning, bloodthirsty blades. He is the Chainsaw Man, letting out a beastly roar as he charges at the horde of zombies. The carnage is absolute. The chainsaws slice through flesh and bone with ease, dismembering the zombies in a shower of blood and guts. Denji, now an unstoppable killing machine, moves with terrifying speed and brutality. The zombie devil, the grotesque form of the former Yakuza boss, tries to stop him, but his attacks are useless against the overwhelming power of the Chainsaw Man. In a series of visceral and bloody blows, Denji hacks the zombie devil to pieces, silencing its screams of agony. One by one, the remaining zombies are wiped out, until only the Chainsaw Man is left standing, covered in blood, surrounded by the mangled bodies of his enemies. The dust of battle settles, and the silence of the carnage is broken by the arrival of three imposing figures dressed in immaculate black suits. At the front, a young woman with light pink hair and hypnotic eyes, Makima, observes the scene with a disturbingly calm demeanor. At her side, two tall, serious men. Looks like someone got here first. Makima remarks, her gentle voice contrasting with the brutality around her. She walks gracefully among the remains, stopping in front of the Chainsaw Man who, exhausted, begins to revert to his human form, though Pochita is still fused to his chest. Interesting, she says, tilting her head. You have a peculiar scent, either human nor devil. Denji, still in shock and covered in blood, stares at her. Makima smiles subtly. Tell me, was it you who did this? Denji, exhausted and confused, can only manage to murmur a desperate request. Please hug me. Makima, without hesitation, wraps her arms around him. Denji, starved for any kind of affection, clings to her. You are human, Makima says, still holding him in her arms. One of her subordinates asks if he might be possessed, but Makima denies it, not at all. When it happens, it's obvious on their faces. She pulls back a little, looking into Denji's eyes. I came here to kill the zombie devil. I'm a public safety devil hunter. She then gives him two options. The first is to be killed by me as a devil, and the second is to become my little dog. If I take care of you, I'll make sure you eat properly. Denji, with the prospect of having regular meals and a hug, something he's never had, looks at her. His eyes wide open. You'll feed me? Barely able to believe it, he asks, his voice trembling. Makima confirms. What would you give me for breakfast? He asks, the simplicity of his wish tugging at the heart. Makima thinks for a moment. I guess a slice of bread with butter or jam, a salad, and coffee. And maybe a dessert afterward. Denji, with tears in his eyes and a genuine smile for the first time, replies with pure happiness. That sounds like the best breakfast in the world. And it's right in the middle of this bloody mess, with the promise of a dream breakfast, that Denji's life gets turned upside down. Totally insane. If you freaked out over this transformation and Makima's arrival, you already know what to do, right? Like and subscribe so we can keep going on this journey together. Tell us in the comments, what did you think about Denji's new job? See you next time.